Hey, what's going on? Welcome back to In the Bag Disc Golf. Today we have a review for you. It is the new Discmania Evolution Vapor Tactic, codename Razor Claw. It's a very flat-topped, no bead, and low profile. It's everything you want in an approach disc. Now they only made 2,000 of these on a limited first run. There's 350 in the white, and the rest was done in this vapor plastic with this 12 vein burst coloring. It's very pretty. It's very comfortable. I love the feel of the plastic. The numbers for the Vapor Tactic are speed of 4, glide of 2, turn of 0, fade of 3. And I think they're very spot on with those numbers. Sometimes numbers can go here either way. These numbers that they have on here, I think the speed 4, spot on. The glide of 2, it has a little glide, but not a lot of glide, so you can trust it to throw with power and get up and come in next to the basket without worrying about overshooting too much. The turn of 0, spot on. And the fade of 3, I think that's pretty close. It's a solid 3. So we took several discs with us whenever we tested this, and a lot of them were very close in flight and feel, but the one disc that stood out, the Lucidex Suspect. This disc is basically a mirror image of the Vapor Tactic. The only difference between this disc and the Vapor Tactic is the small bead that the Suspect has. But you don't even notice that bead in your hand. It feels identical all around. The profiles are the same. We'll get a close-up of that here in a minute. This disc and this disc, basically the same disc almost. It's very, very similar. I mean, there was a few times when I threw this disc, I thought I was throwing this disc. If you've thrown a Lucidex Suspect, you've thrown a Vapor Tactic. The Lucidex Suspect is a very good approach disc, and now Discmania has an identical twin. This is basically the little brother to it. They go about the same distance for me, and they feel the same in the hand, whether it's a fan grip or a power grip. It's the same feel. The profiles are identical. It's very, very comparable to this disc.
Alright, so now we'll bring it down for an up close and personal look at the Evolution Tactic Razor Claw. You can see it's a very nice flat top disc. You can see the nice bursting effect that they have here in the new Evolution Vapor line. They have 12 veins in them. Mine isn't very strong on the burst, but some will be stronger than others. I just happen to get a light one. See, it's got a nice rounded edge. It feels really good in your hand. You can power grip it, and it doesn't feel awkward. You can do a little modified grip like that, like I do, kind of a hybrid power fan grip. You see here side by side with the Lucidex Suspect, they are the same exact diameter. You can see there. Here on the side by side comparison on the edges, you can see that the Suspect has the bead on the bottom and a slightly sharper edge right there where the Tactic has no bead, and is a little more rounded right here. So other than that, they feel the exact same. You can see they're pretty much the same mold. They're pretty much spot on. They fly the same, feel the same, look the same. So they can be pretty much interchangeable. And you can see here, the suspect fits the exact same in my hand as the tactic does. So now we'll move to the course to see how the Vapor Tactic flies and how it compares to the other discs that are similar to it and other manufacturers. So we'll be throwing some flat power shots here, where we'll just try to keep it as low as we can and throw it hard and flat. You can see it never wants to turn over. Just gets out there, finishes pretty much dead center fairway. Here we got the Lucidex Suspect. Same exact flight. I think they were about 3 feet apart from each other. Here we have the Dynamic Disc Slammer, and it lands a little bit to the left of them. The BT Hard Harp and the BT Soft Harp get a little more fade. I don't know if it's the way I threw them or they're just a little bit more stable, but you can see they pretty much land exactly on top of each other. Here we go with another hard shot with the Razor Claw. Pretty much identical shots to the first one. It's just a very reliable, stable disc. Next up, we'll be throwing each of these discs on hyzer. Here we go, Razor Claw. Throw it on a hyzer. Never wants to turn up and flip up flat. Stays on the hyzer the whole way. The Slammer has absolutely no glide, so it always wants to just get to the ground. The Zone, I get it a little wide on this shot, but you can see it's pretty much the same flight. Here we go, Lucidex Suspect. Identical, just identical to the Razor Claw flight. The Soft Harp here, I get up a little higher, but you can see it's pretty much the same flight as well. Here I wanted to hyzer around this tree, see how much fade I could get. We got a pretty good amount of fade there. And here I wanted to throw it on hyzer, see if I could flip it up flat. So I threw it hard. You can see it never wanted to really get up flat. It tried to, but it didn't. Here we're going to start throwing them on anhyzer, see if we can't turn them over. We take the Razor Claw, we get a good spin on it. We don't get it up high enough, so it barely starts to fight out at the end of its flight. We get the Harp up at the right angle. It fights out, lands center fairway. Lucidex Suspect, same exact flight as the Harp. Here we get the Razor Claw at that same height. It's turning, stops, fades out, just like the others. Here I try to get it up real high and real hard and get a lot of turn out of it. I ended up getting a pretty good shot, and it lands center cut. So it's always going to fight out of that any. Here we got some high control shots. Basically, I'm trying to throw it hard and high and let the disc eat to the left. So we just see how much stability is really in these discs. So you can see there, they're all pretty much, I'm trying to get it at the top of those trees right there and just let it fade out. And they're all pretty much just doing the same exact thing, landing in the same exact spot. They're all within about 10 feet of each other. All right, here we're gonna go with a big hyzer where we'll just put it on a real steep hyzer angle and we'll throw it up as high as we can and just let it eat left. And look at that thing go. It went about as far left as I went forward. Here we go, Lucidex Suspect. When I say mirror image, I mean mirror image. Those things were a couple feet apart. Here you see the Slammer. It just wants to get to the ground. It never had a chance to get up as high as those did. Here we go, Zone. The Zone seems to be a little bit more stable than any of the rest of these. You can see that Razor Claw getting up there and getting right back down. All right, forehand approaches. My forehand is just purely get out of trouble and approaching. I do not have a good forehand, as you can see by the wobble, but I can use it as utility and get out of trouble or simply approach. So you can see all these are pretty much flying the same. The slammer is a little more beat in, so it doesn't fade as much. Alright, so forehand roller here. I'm not going for distance whenever I use this shot. This is purely get out of jail. You need to make that sharp 90-degree angle. That's when I bust this thing out. So you can see that thing just goes out and cuts over to the right. Lucidex suspect gets a little bit further right, but I got it down a little better than I did the razor claw. I got a little bounce in that razor claw shot. Slammer gets right over there the same. Now, what I've noticed with the harps is they get a lot more distance. They carry straighter longer, so they end up going about 20-30 feet longer. Zone, that thing hits the ground and just jumps right and doesn't look back.
And there you have it, guys. The Discmania Evolution Vapor Tactic Razor Claw. It's probably the longest name out of any disc that I've ever had, but I'm sure everybody will just be calling it the Tactic or the Razor Claw. Overall, I was very impressed with this disc. Not sure if it'll make my bag because it's the same as several other discs that I have. I usually bag the Lucidex Suspect, but I could see this making its way into the bag if something happens to my Lucidex Suspect. But other than that, we hope you've enjoyed this review of the Vapor Claw. I hope it was informative to you and entertaining. Maybe whenever it becomes available on full production, you'll know whether or not this is the disc for you. And as always, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you click this little guy right here to subscribe. Check out some of these videos right here. You may see something that you're interested in. You may catch a disc on there that you've been looking at but weren't sure if you wanted to buy. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, hit the little bell for notifications so you know next time we put a video out. And thanks for the support. We'll see you next time on In the Bag Disc Golf.